Mario Kart Wii was, and still is, my favorite Mario Kart game. I loved playing it as a kid, ever since I got it about 15 years ago, and it is, to this day, one of my favorite games of all time. Among the many things I loved about it, the tracks are probably the biggest reason, with their iconicity, their design, and charm. So today, I decided to rank every course in Mario Kart Wii. It will be very similar to my Mario Kart World track ranking I did a while back. I'll take into account the layout, shortcuts, music, atmosphere, and other noteworthy elements. So without further ado, let's start ranking. Number 32, GBA Shy Guy Beach. Out of all the courses in the game, this one just felt really off to me for several reasons. I just don't really think that the art style of the track meshes well with the rest of the game, as it feels too bright and contrasts way too much with the rest of the tracks. The obstacles are just too annoying. Crabs just block too much of the track when it gets condensed. Sometimes the track just isn't big enough for them. Cannonballs do pretty much nothing until they randomly decide to land right next to you for some reason. The track layout just feels sloppy too. There's a whole segment of tiny dots of sand that you need to hop over that just brings the whole race to a screeching halt if you don't have an item. And if you're using automatic drift, you're pretty much screwed because there's no way to jump over them. Though to be fair, picking automatic drift is a skill issue in and of itself. Also, the retro tracks from Super and Super Circuit just really aren't very well designed or interesting to begin with, because of how flat they are. Anyways, there's just so much wrong with this track that I can't place it any higher than last place. Number 31, Luigi Circuit. Here we go from a track that drives me nuts to just an extremely nothing track. In the track, you go in a straight line, turn, go in another straight line, you turn, but this time there's a series of boost panels if you turn softer, which I'm 90% sure is slower than not taking it at all. There's really just nothing to this track, it just feels so empty playing it. The only thing that this track does that has a fraction of being interesting is a series of boosts, but again, that really isn't optimal at all. There really is just nothing to this track. Number 30, SNES Mario Circuit 3. Pretty much the only reason I put this higher than Luigi Circuit is that the turns on the track are a lot tighter and feel a lot more difficult than that course, so it adds a bit of challenge to it. Besides that, the course is just as bland, if not more, especially because of the block walls and that they made it extremely hard to see where you even are on the course. Still, just another boring course. Number 29, Yoshi Falls. Upon reflection, this track really isn't as good as I thought it was. As a matter of fact, I can't even really name what I used to like about this course. It's really just a big circle with bridges and waterfalls, which is pretty much the only obstacle on the track. There really is just not much variety on the stage, and it gets boring fast. While the waterfalls can be good shortcuts, they're really just not that impressive. The only time I really got hyped about this course was when I bounced off the umbrella on the bridge with the ramp. I'm sorry, but there's just not a lot here. Number 28, SNES Ghost Valley 2. This course has a lot of the same problems as the SNES Mario Circuit. In addition to the boring blocks making you not know where you are on the track is also actively difficult to see. So many times while playing this, I had to constantly look at the map just to see where the turn was because the track was so dark. And just like the other courses, I really did not like how flat the track was. However, I put this one higher than the other ones because this course actually has an atmosphere this time. I kinda like the spooky theme, it almost justified the dark track. Keyword almost. Still, it is lacking in difficult, which makes me put it low. Number 27, Sherbet Land. Just like Yoshi Falls, I thought this one was a lot worse since I played it when I was younger. I think I just really like the penguins. Anyway, I never realized how much of the track was straight lines until I recently played it. However, I do like that the cave added a bit of variety and challenge to the course, given how condensed it is and the obstacles. It's also a pretty cool party trick to jump over the small cracks in the ice. Besides that, it's just kinda boring. Number 26, N64 DK's Jungle Parkway. Far and away the worst and most boring Donkey Kong track. As a matter of fact, it's a bit of a stretch to call it even a DK track because there's next to nothing in the track that indicates it besides the drum soundtrack, which is also boring. I also don't get how they managed to make the largest jump in the game also the most anticlimactic one as well. Though the track has a lot of flaws, the atmosphere is nice and relaxing with the visuals and the sunset. The bridge is also a fun way to trap enemies with items, so there's that. Number 25, DS Desert Hills. This course really isn't as bad as people say it is. There are a lot of interesting jumps on the dunes, and I really like the many curves near the end. They are kind of fun. Besides that, the course just needed a bit more. The course looks pretty much the same throughout the course. Besides the Mario 3 pipes, it just looks bland. It really does not stand out from most desert courses throughout the series. Number 24, Mario Circuit. This is an extremely okay course. There's some cool stuff like jumping over the chain chomp and dodging through the Goombas to the end, but that's pretty much it. There are really just too many open roads for much interesting stuff to happen. Although it is a good course for beginners to learn the ropes, there's just too little to hold a candle to a lot of the other courses. Number 23, GCN Mario Circuit. To be honest, this Mario Circuit can be swapped with the last Mario Circuit depending on the day. This course doesn't have a lot that the last one didn't, so a lot of my reasoning is the same. I do like the small bumps in the road that give it a bit of variety, but it really doesn't feel like enough. I do like that this course has brighter colors and feels more cartoony, but at the same time, it just doesn't really match the style of the game. It just feels very aggressively GameCube-y. So yeah, I feel pretty much the same as with this as the Wii Mario Circuit. Number 22, Daisy Circuit. To be honest, there really is not much to do in this course. Besides the ramp that you can take through the building if you have a mushroom, or just without one like I have my whole life, the course really is just bare straight lines and curves. However, I really like the calming atmosphere and music on the track, which I do think lets it stand out on its own. Besides that, it's not really that special. Number 21, N64 Mario Raceway. I think this is the best Mario themed course in the game, so that's really not saying that much. I think this one is better since it's a lot more unique compared to the others and has a bunch more shortcut options, but still has its own flaws. It feels like this track just has too much empty space to look good, and there really is not much going on here either. Number 20, GCN Peach Beach. This is a relaxing beach course with its own charm. The visuals are really nice, and the town and the beach feel really alive with their colors. The cataquacks are good obstacles, though I do think they are a little too difficult to escape from. The waves can be annoying sometimes with their unpredictability though, and there are just some layout choices I don't like. There's a ramp shortcut once you get to the dock that is so out of the way and loses so much time that I don't even know why it's there. I also think that the beach itself could have had more obstacles in addition to the cataquacks. I think it's okay, but it just needs a little more. Number 19, Moo Moo Meadows. This is a very nostalgic track for me. The whole farm is just so comforting, and I just love the Moo Moos and how cute they were. I still refuse to call them cows. But looking back, this track really isn't that impressive. It's mostly just a lot of the same flat dirt roads with the occasional ramp. And the ending section with the patches of grass just feels very messily designed and awkward to drive through. So while there is a lot of stuff that I personally love about it, its flaws are just too apparent. Number 18, Moonview Highway. Don't get me wrong, I despise this track. I hate how fast the cars come in and that you can barely even see them coming. I hate how cramped the course can feel sometimes with the cars. I hate that nobody on the highway knows how to turn signal. I genuinely think driving through a real-life city is less stressful than this. However, there is some objectively good stuff about the track. I really like the visuals, especially in the city, and the music really captures the chaos of the track. And even if I do hate this course so much, it would be kinda insulting to put this track next to courses with way less effort in them. However, although it has a lot of good parts, I just can't hate it enough for personal reasons. Number 17, DS Peach Gardens. This is a nice and calming track with some good ideas. I really like the use of off-road and how it ties into the track's theme of grass and flowers, and it creates a lot of shortcut potential. Although it can get annoying sometimes, and it can drag a bit, I also like the hedge mazes and how they can be a challenge if you aren't paying attention to the chain chomps. The course also has a lot of paths that are really out of your way and doesn't help you at all, so it can feel a little sloppy and off-putting sometimes. Although this course could have used a few more obstacles, it did a good job with its concept and tying it into the layout of the track. Number 16, DS Delfino Square. Here's a charming course and one of my favorites as a kid. I really like the old town feeling with the visuals and the music, as it creates a really comfy vibe. The layout isn't amazing, but does a good job with its setting. While the drive through the buildings can be hard for inexperienced players, I kinda like the difficulty and the tightness of the track. I like the shortcuts as well, even though to this day I can't figure out how to jump out from the buildings to the dock. The big jump on the bridge is also a really cool moment. While it's not the most complex track, it still is a fun one to drive through. Number 15. GBA Bowser's Castle 3. Here we have my favorite SNES/GBA retro track, probably in the whole series. Yes, this course does have a lot of the same flaws as the others, but I actually like this course's simplicity. It's a somewhat challenging course with lots of tight walls and turns to keep you on your toes, which is just really fun to play on. I know 3 Bowser's Castles is kinda pushing it, but I actually think this is a pretty underrated course. Number 14. GCN DK Mountain. This is a course with incredible use of scale. The cannon at the beginning was just unforgettable, and the climb down the mountain was just really exciting. I really liked how it feels fast paced to drive down a massive mountain like that, especially with the boulders and the tight turns giving it a bit of a challenge. Bumpiness also really contributes to the setting of the mountain and how rough it feels. However, I do wish that this track used a more realistic art style to make the mountain more beautiful, but I am still alright with it. Although it is outclassed a little, there's still a lot to love about this track. Number 13. Dry Desert. I know that desert tracks aren't a lot of people's thing, but this course is easily the best of them. While the beginning is alright with the large turns, this course truly locks in when we get into the temple. Half pipes are a good challenge to pass through, and I really like the sand that piles up in the center of the room over time, in addition to the pillars that fall across the rest of the track. Although the visuals may seem a little bland, this is a desert course done right. Number 12. Mushroom Gorge. While this track may not have that many different ideas, the one that it does have is just so well done. That would be bouncing off the mushrooms. It's honestly impressive that Nintendo was able to make such a good and fun course just off this mechanic alone. The section in the cave is probably one of the best parts of a course in the whole game. Bouncing off several mushrooms in succession is difficult, but it's also so much fun. It also helps that the music is a bop, and the theme of mountains really helps the vibe of the course because of how high up you are. This track shows how great a course can be with just one idea. Number 11. N64 Bowser's Castle. Although this course is outclassed by a bunch of other tracks, this track has a lot to stand out with. The castle feels pretty creepy, and the thwomps serve as a way bigger threat than the other courses. The windiness and the music really help the creepy atmosphere as we go further into the castle, which gets increasingly more dangerous. Although this is not really as challenging as the other Bowser courses, I really like its atmosphere a lot more, though I do think it could have looked better visually, especially since it was originally an N64 track. While there are better tracks, this one sure puts up a good fight. Number 10. Koopa Cape. This track has some of the best uses of fast-paced driving in the game. I like how in both the stream and the pipe, you need to strategically use water to go faster, even if it can be dangerous to keep going on it with the obstacles and the lasers. Even though this course can be difficult, the music is such a bop, and the visuals really sell the watery feel. The pipe itself looks beautiful because of all the marine life in there. I really wish this track returned in Mario Kart World because of how the power of the Switch 2 can make it look even more full of life than it already is. Although there are some better tracks, this one puts up a real fight. Number 9. Wario's Gold Mine. This course shows how much a theme can really make such a good track. It really feels like you're going through a mine and racing against minecarts. With the tracks in the deep drops, it almost makes you feel like you're on a roller coaster, though I'm just guessing because I'm too scared to go on roller coasters. The difficulty and the fast pace of the track really makes you feel so much faster and make it even more stressful in a good way. The great music and visuals really help sell this setting as well. There's just so much good stuff in this track, and there are 8 whole tracks to go. As a matter of fact, the last 8 tracks have been extremely tough to figure out what order they go in because of how close they are to each other, especially the top 4. I constantly change my ranking of them because of how peak they all are. So now let's see what's the best of the best. Number 8. GCN Waluigi Stadium. This course is the epitome of coolness in the game. While there are way more visually appealing tracks, This one just has so many hype moments, which is why the stadium courses are usually some of my favorites. The massive jumps are just so awesome to trick off of, and the mini jumps in succession keep you on your toes. I also think it's cool that you can hug the wall next to the mud patch to create a shoomless shortcut, though it is pretty difficult. While it may not be as intricate as the other courses, this track is just cool, which I happen to like a lot. Number 7. Grumble Volcano. This course really gives you the feeling of doom. I know that sounds kinda stupid considering I'm literally talking about a Mario Kart track, but it actually can be kinda intense. You need to make 3 laps while more and more of the track falls into lava, making the track more difficult as you keep going. I love that it always feels like you're on the run from impeding doom with the fast music and pacing. Plus, the obstacles in this track, like the fireballs and the fire snakes, can be pretty unpredictable, giving a sense of chaos in the world around you. I know unpredictability can be a flaw, which it is for a bunch of other courses in the game, but this one uses it so perfectly in its atmosphere that I'll let it slide. This is a perfect example of how courses don't have to be charming to be atmospherically great. Number 6. Toad's Factory. This track has a lot of charm and is a lot of fun. The music is a bop, the visuals are creative, and the course has a lot of great creative ideas, especially with conveyor belts. I know it doesn't have the most intriguing design or the most challenge, but it manages to be what video games should strive for: fun. It's a colorful course that also gets to be fast paced. I really like how much this track feels like a factory with its design and sounds. The conveyor belts that may lead you being smashed, the moving blocks, and the sirens before the ramp. This track just shows how imaginative these courses can be. Number 5. DK Summit. This track combines the hype of Waluigi Stadium and the scale of DK Mountain to make this incredible course. There's just so much to do with the jumps and how to go about it, as well as the pit shortcuts, which I'll never understand how to do. I love the fast turns and the big jumps like the other courses, and the snowy aesthetic really makes it more unique, and it really fits. I also love the ending where you need to use half pipes strategically to dodge the off-road and the snowboarders to get to the finish line. An incredible course that manages to take the best of many other courses and do it in some of the best possible ways. Number 4. Bowser's Castle. Now this is the perfect Bowser course. Right when you enter the castle, you can tell that this is no easy ride with the shifting hallway. The whole course feels like a twisting maze with fast turns and winding halls, despite its linearity for the most part. Eventually, we reach the massive hall with a huge Bowser. This section gives you so many options to approach this, with none of them being easy. The half pipes sound like a good idea, but you'll need to control them well to avoid slowing down or falling into the lava. There is dirt, but you need an item for it. The ramp seems like a safe bet, but you need to time it with the fireballs so you don't get hit. This one section is just a perfect encapsulation of the challenge that Mario Kart Wii brings to the table, and the twisted turns after it help turn this castle into a brilliant design challenge that Bowser would approve of. Number 3. Coconut Mall. While this course may not be the most challenging or thrilling, there is so much that makes this iconic track that it is known today. The music is a bop, and the mall is charming, filled with color and personality. The course also has many ways to go and paths to take, some better than others. I remember playing this course as a kid and loving it. In time trials, I used to not race and just drive around the mall and explore all of what the mall had, despite 80% of it being blocked off. The magic of jumping off the massive ramp at the end of the mall was truly an unforgettable experience that probably won't be topped in any past or future Mario Kart game. And best of all, this is only the 3rd best course in the game. Number 2. Maple Treeway. This course is a perfect balance between charm and challenge. There's a lot of obstacles, big and small, on this track, from the wigglers that can block you to the tight and sloped turns that can drop you far down to the ground. Despite the difficulty this track seems to have, there's so many things to love about it. The music is relaxing, the trees in the backgrounds look beautiful, and although they can be a pain in the butt a lot of the time, the wigglers are very cute. This course is just the best of both worlds in how it's able to make you lose your mind and love the whole thing. Overall, I would say that this is the best track in the game, if not for one other course. Number 1. Rainbow Road. The Rainbow Roads throughout the franchise have been iconic and known for their difficulty, but Wii Rainbow Road may just be on top in those regards. This course is genuinely a challenge for even experienced players, and punishes you for being too careless. From the massive streamable jumps to the tight turns to the half pipe, any wrong input will send you crashing down to earth. A big reason why Wii is my favorite game in the franchise is its challenge and how punishing it is to make a mistake. While I know that's a turnoff for some people, it just makes everything that much more intense, and Rainbow Road is the perfect demonstration of that. How can I talk about Rainbow Road without its visuals, music, and atmosphere? It's just that grand. Because of that, Rainbow Road is my favorite track in Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart World's Rainbow Road? Please take notes. So that was my ranking for every Mario Kart Wii track. I think the biggest reason this is my favorite in the franchise, besides nostalgia of course, is really the track design and how many cool and iconic moments they bring to the table, as well as their vibes, from the charming Coconut Mall, to the intense Grumble Volcano, to the grand but challenging Rainbow Road. There's too much great stuff in this game for me to call it anything but my favorite. So what do you think? Is there any tracks I gave too much or too little credit? Feel free to comment your thoughts in the comments section, and like and subscribe if you like content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.